Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In this video we're making faux rice paper. And let me tell you, it's very easy to do and extremely satisfying. I saw a video on this technique a few months ago on Facebook. I'll have to dig it up and share it in the description box below. But ever since seeing that video, I've experimented with using different types of materials and different techniques and all that sort of stuff. So in this video, we're going to talk about materials you need, the techniques that you can use, some of the variations on the project that you can do, and then of course at the end we're going to talk about what can you actually do with this. All right, let's get started. But before we get started, and in case if you're wondering, these are quite durable. I mean, they're not indestructible, but they are definitely as durable as paper, and they actually look very fragile, but they are definitely tougher than they seem. You can rip it, but you know, it's quite sturdy. See? Quite sturdy. Let's start with all the materials that you can use. So the first most obvious one is napkins. Don't worry if you don't have any napkins, because there are other things that we can use. You only need one ply of the napkin, so you would separate those plies. And then of course, as I've got here, you can use this blank side as well. And in a lot of the cases, this actually produces an even better result. I'll show you in a moment. You might also use some paper roll like this. It doesn't even have to be, you know. I mean, this one is quite thick, but it would still work, I think. I haven't tried it. I have tried other things. But why not give that a go as well? When it comes to napkins, this is how they look. And there is one thing that I have realized, and that is the more white in the napkin, the better the result. So this one here, you can see it's very dark. See, it's not very sheer, like you can't really tell that this is the technique I used. Look at this, I love it. But then on this one here, it really looks like actual rice paper. Look at that. So the more white in the napkin, the better. And even just using this all white gives you a really beautiful result. I'll show you. Look at this. This is just all white. And these as well. These are the other plies that I used in a napkin, and sometimes when you peel off that ply, it will have a little bit of the print left on it. So that's what happened here. And the reason why it's colored brown is because I used a bit of coffee in my glue solution. I'll show you all of that in a moment. This one here is just no coffee in the glue solution, just glue. And then this one here as well. So that's the napkin ones, and we will have a play with napkins in a moment. Another thing that you can use is just tissue paper. So this is the tissue paper that I used on this one here, and just plain glue, no coffee added to solution. I think I really like that coffee added to the solution. We'll talk about that next. So this is just some tissue paper from a shoe box, right, when I bought shoes, and then I scrunch it up even more, and I use that. This also here is slightly better quality tissue paper, and I find that the thinner the tissue paper, the better for this project, right? Because this is, you can't really even see that much has happened on here. There's really not that much difference in the one that I have applied the glue to. So if you can get your hands on some really thin tissue paper, any material that's really thin, it works perfect for this project. Another thing that I've used, and I love the effect, is this sewing pattern paper. It's pretty much just tissue paper, but it's very thin and very pliable. And the effect it produced is just outstanding. I absolutely love the look of this. Look at it. Sheer underneath. See, it's got the crinkle, it's got the sound, it's got the texture. It's just absolutely beautiful. So if you have some of this, go for it, or otherwise just, you know, really thin tissue paper. Another thing that I have used is cheesecloth, and this is not very good cheesecloth at all. As you can see, it's very thinly woven, I guess. And it's perfect for this project. So basically it produces almost like a skin, I guess you can say. Look at that. It has substance to it. Look at it. It's like leather almost, not as thick as leather, but like a skin. I just love how this turned out. And I have done another little variation of this, which I'm going to show you later on in the video. So these are sort of the main things that I've thought of using so far. So in this tutorial, I'm going to use the cheesecloth, the tissue paper, and the napkin. So if you have any one of these in your possession, you can get started right away. So the very first thing we need to do is the glue solution. This is really quite simple. All you need is PVA glue or school glue, Elmer's glue, cheap white glue, right? Nothing special. You need it to be really, really runny. The way you make it really runny is to add water to it. Or what I'm going to do is add this coffee into it instead of water. You can add perhaps some water mixed with brown acrylic paint or even watercolor. I've also done that. And I want to show you this napkin here is done with brown watercolor, and this one here is done with the coffee. So really, if you don't want the coffee, if you're not a fan of the coffee smell, then there are ways, okay? Or just do clear water. I'm doing coffee. So basically what you want to do is use some type of a plastic container, and you want 2/3 glue in there. You don't have to measure anything, just, you know, just approximately. So that's about, you know, when I tilt it like this, it looks like a lot more, but that's about 2/3 glue in there. And then we're adding 1 part water, or in this case, we're adding 1 part coffee. So now I'm just going to close it. And I think my coffee solution might be a little bit too strong, so it'll be quite brown, but that's okay. And now I just cover it with some type of a rag and shake. Mix it up. The only reason why I cover it with this rag is because sometimes it can leak on the sides. All right, let's see what we have. There's my solution. It's quite brown. And you know, if you're doing a solution with coffee, you might want to use it all up rather quickly. You don't want to leave it sitting in there for a month because it's going to go bad. If you just mix water and glue, then in my case, I found that it can just sit in there forever and not go bad, because PVA glue is water-based glue, so there's water already in there, but there's no coffee in there. So if you add coffee, it's gonna go bad. All right, so that's the solution, and basically, look at it. It's like, you know, it's quite runny, and that's what you want. Next thing you need is a plastic bag or some type of a non-stick surface. What I'm using here is a cereal bag or a cereal box liner that I've opened up, and I've made lots of projects using these, so I have lots of them on hand. If you don't happen to have those, you can just go ahead and just use any plastic bag that you have at home, right? Next thing we want to do, so I'm going to start off with the napkin, and firstly I just need to remove, you know, I just want 1 ply. I want that really, really thin, so I'm only using 1 ply. I want to apply glue first underneath the napkin and then on top of the napkin. So in order to know how large my napkin is on my surface, I'm just going to mark just the corners. And then you can see I have my corners marked. So now I need my glue solution. I'm going to explain in a moment why I'm doing this, but now I just want to apply glue on that whole surface. The reason why we're doing this, even though the glue is going to seep, if you put the napkin on top of the bag and go over it with glue, the glue will seep through underneath. So you might be wondering, why would you be applying the glue first? The reason why is because in order to make that faux rice paper sturdy, we need that glue. So the glue is there. The glue almost becomes like a plastic, right, when it dries. So when you have a thick layer of glue on top and some glue underneath as well, it all helps with that sturdiness, right? All right, so here's my napkin, and now what I want to do is that I'm just going to fold it a little bit like this. Holding it like this helps me set it down without it being messed up too much. So now I'm going to set it down like this. Now I know some people might want to iron this napkin first. I really don't want to bother with that, but I don't like having these straight lines in there. So as I'm holding it up, I'm trying to kind of get rid of the straight lines. And here's my napkin down. It's kind of laying up a little bit here, so I might maybe just pick it up a little bit. Now personally, I love creases. And you know, the more creases there are, in my opinion, the better. So you can look at these creases. So I'm not avoiding creases. In fact, I want to create as much as I can. So now I'm just going to tap it down a little bit. There's that glue that's grabbing onto the napkin straight away. And now I'm simply going to brush glue all over this whole thing. I'm starting somewhere in the middle. and just with a gentle hand, brushing towards the outside. The napkin will start to tear if your brush is dry, if there's not enough glue on the brush that's gliding through. Also, the napkin will tear if your glue is too gooey, if it's not runny enough. So that's why, you know, adding that water in there really helps this whole process. It just makes it so quick and easy. And you can see, like, I add glue, and as soon as I feel like my brush is starting to drag, like it's getting dry, I add more glue. So we do use quite a bit of this solution. And of course, another thing, if you don't like the smell of coffee, of course you can use tea as well. I didn't mention tea before. Acrylic paint, black tea, watercolors, all of that will do. All right, here we go. That's all completely covered. And now, once this is dry, we're going to peel it off. And I'm going to show you that as well, how to do it. But what I found is that at this point, there is one little step that we can take to make the peeling easier later on when this is dry. So if you look at this here, my edges are straight. At this point, if we just simply move these edges in a little bit and create that kind of a scrunched up thing there all around, it makes the peeling much easier and the chance of tearing a lot less. So what I do, I just kind of go in with my brush just like this. Let's get you closer. So here is my straight edge here, which might be a little bit difficult to peel off later on when everything is dry. And all I do is just this, just move it in a little bit like that. And it also creates a really nice kind of vintagey, old scroll looking type of an effect. So I'll show you the difference now, because I didn't work it out until I've done a few of these. This is the straight edge one. And then this is the one where I scrunched up those edges. And in my opinion, it just looks so much better as opposed to this straight edge kind of a look. All right, so this one's all done. Look at those edges, love it. And now I'm gonna pop this aside, let it dry. Usually I leave it on overnight. All right, let's move on. Now that you know how it's done, I'm gonna speed up the rest of this process. So the next thing I'm gonna use is tissue paper. And I really like, as I said before, I love the crinkles. So I'm going to scrunch up that tissue paper first to get as much, you know, wrinkling as I can. And then follow the exact same procedure. How satisfying is this? Especially when it's speeded up, it looks like magic. I forgot to mention, if you get a tear in a napkin, because napkins are very thin, it can very well happen. And it has happened to me, and I was able to salvage it. So basically what I did, just like as I was doing with the edges before, and like I'm going to do now, I did it to the napkin. Let's say there's a tear here. I just kind of smooshed it all together. That tear, smooshed it all together, popped the glue on, you know, did that kind of thing. And then when it was dry, it was perfect. Now I'm going to leave this one to dry. And the next one, I'm going to do just half of the napkin so I can fit both on here and the cheesecloth. So I'm going to make a deliberate tear in here to show you how to repair it. Oh, it pains me to do this, but let's do a tear. So I went over that spot one too many times, right? And now I have a tear in there. You can see, look at that tear. So what I would do, but now I'm gently trying to, you know, depending on how large the tear is, if it's a little tear, you can bring napkin from the surrounding area to the tear to cover it up like that. But I did make that tear quite large, so I might need to add a tiny little bit of napkin over the top, which will be visible when it dries. So I just want to check. I have covered the tear, and the more I kind of fiddle with it and play around with it, the more, you know, things go wrong. But that's the tear, right? So once that's dry, it's going to be completely, you know, glued together. I want to see if I can show you the one that it actually happened on. I was looking for a tear, and I just have to show you, look how cool this looks when I turn it towards the light. Oh, it's just so incredibly satisfying. Look at it. Okay, I think I found the one that had the tear. I don't even know if you can see it on here, so I might have to turn it towards the light. My point is that if you get a tear, you can fix it up, and then the glue, here you can see it in the light this way, and then the glue holds it all together. So anyway, let's move on to cheesecloth. Now cheesecloth, it requires a little bit more glue because it starts to seep into these little spaces. So I'm going to pop it down, and you can see straight away, because you know it's not thin like napkins, so it's not really soaking up all that glue right away. And now same thing, you know, I start applying the glue, and I try not to move that cheesecloth too much, right? You can just leave it as this, let it dry like this, or I'm gonna do this to the edges because I want to have a nice neat look to this. I want it to look like papyrus or something, you know, I just want it to look good. So I'm just gonna do this to the edges. It looks like an old map, if you can imagine a map printed on there, or drawn, hand drawn, you know those maps, treasure maps. All right, so that's, I'm going to leave that as it is, and I'm going to let this join the others in its drying time. Oh, I didn't do these edges here. It just looks better with those edges, does it not? All right, now I'm going to let this dry, and I already have some dried ones because I was well prepared, so now I'm going to show you how to actually peel it off. Okay, here is one that I did last night, and this one is now completely dry, and I'm going to show you how to peel it off. So I do have to admit that the peeling is so much easier when you do that to the edges. When you scratch them up like that, it's very, very easy to pick it up and to start peeling. So this one's going to be easy. I can even just use my finger because those sides are already scrunched up and they're easily coming off, just like that. But previously, when I didn't do that to my sides, or edges I should say, I used an X-Acto knife to do this and, you know, cut that kind of glue off there at the edge. I hope that's making sense. Once that whole side is lifted like this, you can just very easily peel it off. I'm going to zoom out so you can see. There we go. And it's just easy. You just, so satisfactory. You just peel that whole thing right off. I'm going to show you the glue there, but you don't have to throw this away. You can just keep reusing this. So now you've seen, as we are peeling this off, you can see all of these little bits of glue. It's almost like a plastic bag that is now sealing both top and bottom of our napkin. So I just kind of pick it off. And it is in fact the glue that's making this so, you know, amazing. So sturdy and pliable and durable. You can still rip this, so it's not that durable. I've tried one of them, and yes, definitely you can still rip it, just like you can rip rice paper. So here it is, absolutely beautiful. And one thing to note is you will have the top side that you've done. Look at these beautiful creases. It's going to feel rough and it's going to have a lot of texture. And the bottom side is, because it was drying against plastic, it's going to look plasticky like this. And another question that you may or may not have is, well, that was a question that I was wondering in my head. If you leave it folded like this, if it's sitting in a journal, for example, against other pages, is this glue in any way going to activate and glue itself to other things or to itself? So what I did as an experiment, I saw the video that I mentioned about 4 or 5 months ago, I'm not sure. And that's when I did this one. I did it straight away. So what I did, it's exactly the same method, exactly the same, only I used clear glue. I didn't use any coffee in it. And what I did is I folded it and left it under heavy books to see if it's gonna glue itself to itself, right? And we've been through summer, and it's been hot, and it's been humid, and all sorts of things, and it is not. So that is one less thing to worry about. Oh, I have to say, perhaps, I know that Mod Podge sometimes can be very sticky, so I'm not sure if you're using Mod Podge, maybe do a little experiment first. All right, so that's that one. I want to show you this one next because I didn't scrunch up the sides on this one. So you can see when I go to pick it up, like how am I going to do, it's okay, it's coming off easy, but you know, I have had issues with napkins and it definitely wasn't coming up easy. So let's say this one's coming up easy. And okay, it's peeling easy. All right, it's peeling easier than the napkin would. If it's this easy for you, perfect, it's what you want. Well, here it's starting to rip. Look at that. So here we go. So you just kind of, oh, just I was looking at my phone and not at the project. And then, you know, you're just very gently lifting this up. It most definitely can get frustrating and tedious, which is why I started scrunching up the sides, because it was just this whole thing of peeling it after all that work involved, and then you have to do this, and it was just annoying me so much. And I thought if I experiment with those sides and scrunching everything up, I wondered if it's going to be easier, and sure enough, that solves that problem. But this is, I guess, just to demonstrate that it can be done, as annoying as it is. And then you will just start. Once the whole one side is lifted, you can just peel to the side. We want things to be easy and quick. So there's that glue. Just get rid of all of that. What is it about us humans? I don't know if it's humans in general or if it's just us crafters, but why do we love this so much? Like, what is it with the crinkle and with the sound and with the shear, and why do we love it so much? Maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's just me. So there's that one. That's that shiny side and that matte side. And one last one I want to show you is the cheesecloth one. So let me just say that previously when I was experimenting, I have to say, I made this one years ago, and I didn't even glue it onto cereal liner. I actually glued it onto a really shiny book. You know how some books have that shine? I think it even might have been this one. And I just glued it on there and then peeled it right off. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So basically, you can see that the edges here, I really didn't like how you can see this glue and then you have these strings hanging about. This to me looks much nicer when those edges are scrunched. This one I've done recently, just a few days ago, didn't scrunch up the edges, and yeah, you can definitely tell a difference between this one and this one here. Anyway, stop blubbering, let's start peeling. Oh, look how easy this is gonna be. Just pick it up, and now it's not gonna be easy. Oh, maybe it is. Pick it up and peel right off. Who here thinks this is not satisfactory? Lift your hands up. Who here thinks this is not? I mean, I can't see your hands, but check it out. I believe there are no hands rising up, because how can you look at this and not think it's simply, I don't know, let's see what happens. What would happen if I scrunch it up? I haven't tried it. Am I going to ruin it? I hope not. Did I ruin it? No. I mean, nothing really happened. It's just scrunched up. I don't know what I thought would happen. Some type of magic. I think I liked it better not scrunched up. But here we go. That's the cheesecloth one. So now I just wanted to show you some variations, and then we'll move on to maybe some project ideas. What can you actually do with this thing? So it's all about experimentation, right? Just like what I did now with scrunching it up. Oftentimes when you think, what would happen if I do this? You come up with new ideas. So that's what happened when I did this one here. So basically all I did here is I put down my napkin, just as I did on this one that I just did now, that's still drying. I put down my napkin, and then instead of putting the cheesecloth separately, I put the cheesecloth right on top of the napkin. And this is the result. So I have two sides. I have that napkin side, and it looks like plastic because one, it's got glue, two, it was drying against the plastic bag. And I think this looks like I might have used some watercolors. And honestly, the coffee effect looks so much better in my opinion. And this is the cheesecloth side, very textury and, you know, feels completely different to this side. And with this type of thing, I mean, you know, there's just so many things that we can do with this. This alone can even be a really cool journal cover, and not to mention pages in a journal. Cutting off little bits and making some embellishments with it, making envelopes, little pouches, little bags, all that sorts of stuff. So at this point, I'm just enjoying it as it is without actually making something out of it, even though I have already made some things. Okay, another thing that you can do, which is what I've done here, is once you glue that napkin on, instead of peeling it off, leave it on the bag, which is what happened here. I just left it on there and I use my X-Acto knife and I cut those edges and it looks just like this. So the only thing with this type of thing is now, of course, you are able to go and peel this off, because that's what we've done with all of these, and you saw how easy it is to peel them off. This one's got straight edges, so it might be a little bit difficult to go ahead and peel, but you know, you can go ahead and make anything out of this, and especially if you're going to sew around, then you're sealing those edges and the napkin is not going to peel. So that's another thing you can play around with. And that's what I've actually done on this one here. I had to double check because I wasn't sure. I left it, the napkin, right? This is acrylic paint that I used with the glue. Love the rusty look of this. And basically I didn't peel it off. I left it on the plastic bag, cut it out, and I made this little envelope, bag, pouch. It's very sturdy because it's actual plastic inside and it's been sewn around. So if you're not sewing it around, you know it's gonna peel. And generally gluing plastic to plastic, like if you were to glue this instead of sew, I don't know, I don't really trust any glue on plastic. I'm not sure actually. I shouldn't really say that because this is a pretty good glue, so perhaps this one would glue plastic to plastic, but it's also quite on the dearer side of the pricing range. And then I made some other things. I've popped them on book pages, you know, this is just going some extra steps, and I made some journaling spots and stuff like that. But I wanted to see if maybe I can make something with these that I made today. There's a part of me that feels quite bad about hacking into this in any sort of way because I love it so much. A part of me doesn't want to use it. Apart from this one I'm not a fan of because you can't really see. It's not really, you can't really see anything on that one. It just looks like napkin. But I'm gonna go ahead and perhaps, I don't know, maybe I can think of something to make out of these. I feel like these would make really good glassine bags, and glassine bags is something that I always want and I can never find here in Australia, so I oftentimes make my own. It is something that we can make out of this. I'm kind of thinking on the fly here, so I had that map kind of an idea in my mind, so maybe something like this, putting it over the top of some sort of a map and making a little something out of that. Even this cheesecloth, I don't know. I have no goal in mind, so basically so far what I've done is I sandwiched that map piece between the rice paper, faux rice paper, and some tea dyed paper. So I'm just kind of going with it, you know, I've not planned anything. I don't even know if it's gonna work out, but anyway. And now I'm gonna actually try and rip the rice paper. I want to see how easy it actually rips. So here we go. As easy as it is to rip paper, pretty much, which is to be expected. I mean, if I really wanted to do this particular thing that I'm doing, then I could have really just glued the napkin straight onto the map piece. So really, I don't know, I just had a map in my mind and I wanted to try it out. And now I can make this perhaps into some type of like a scroll thing, a scrolly map kind of thing, or I would simply have it as a page in a journal. That's what I would do. And in all honesty, I'm inclined to have most of these as a page in a journal. If you could only sort of feel that texture. There we go. All right, let's do something with just this. So now that I have one uneven edge here, I kind of want to do the same over here. So I'm just gonna try and get that uneven edge happening. This looks cool. Look at this. I messed up a little bit here, but that's okay. The whole thing is wonky and uneven edges and kind of wiggly sewing, and it just, look at it, it looks almost like onion skin, like actual onion skin. You know, it's very mysterious kind of looking. Like if you got this in one of your journals and you haven't seen a video, you would be thinking, what is this? What is this made out of? Look at it. If you were to pop some ephemera in there, oh, look at this. So cool. Maybe have a little something up there as a closure, but I'm just going to put it in here for now. I like this image. So little package in a journal, something like this, you know, clipped on the side of the page. Maybe that doesn't even have to have a flap. It can just be like this, like a little glassine bag, or wrapped with a little bit of twine, just like that. Look, I don't know, man, I just love this a lot more than I would have expected. And then it's, oh, you know, if I got this in a journal, it's just, imagine making a little package of all things, this type of thing. I do have to say, because I've used that coffee solution, I can really smell coffee. So that's a thing to consider. Oh, how I wish I can hear all of your ideas right now. I bet you have so many flowing through your mind of all of the different things that we can do with this rice paper business. These are, of course, all ideas that take time to, you know, be realized. I'm kind of working on the fly now just to get your creative juices going. And I know that they already are. I am inclined to really use these, as I've already said, as pages in journals. But, you know, this whole look, I mean, if you're making a little pack, you can have a theme going. It's perfect, which is what I'm kind of making here. I know that this vintagey feel is not everyone's vibe, but I am most definitely feeling it today. So as you can see, I'm using that cheesecloth as a cover here. It's only a little mini booklet. It's not an actual 3 signature journal. Of course, I wouldn't be able to use it for that kind of thing. And initially I was thinking of sewing an image onto the actual cheesecloth. I'm not a fan of the you know, how I scrunched it up. It doesn't matter. But I thought it would be nicer to have that image underneath. A little grungy notebook on the fly. I'm gonna open up this. Oh, it's open here. The envelope is open here. I was gonna open it here, but there's no point because it's open there. So we're just leaving it as it is. And, you know, all that fun embellishing that can be done in there at another time. Maybe it would be nice to have a twine closure over here. Now that I'm starting to get in the zone, I'm getting so many ideas now of all of the things that I can do, but my battery is running low, so I'm gonna have to speed it up a little bit. I'm loving this so far. I just love it so much. Look at these two together. It's perfection. I love this look. Okay, I'll stop now. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Even this, oh, should have actually bound this in here as a page. Oh well, doesn't matter. And look how good this looks with this kind of a theme that I've got happening over here. It's just so good. So what I'm thinking now is that making things with our faux rice paper could be a whole separate video, right? There's so many ways that this can take us, and all these sorts of variations that we can do. And it is definitely something that I'm going to ponder, because now I have all of these beautiful papers to use. And I have to say, I'm inclined to hold on to them for just a little bit longer. Look at it. Oh. Okay, I need to stop saying that. I think you've seen enough so far. I hope that you are as inspired and excited about this project as I am. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any issues, any problems, also let me know. I think a lot of the problems come up when we are trying something for the first time, and that's the best way to learn. So try it out, see how you go. I will perhaps do some more experimenting and see what else we can do. Let me know what you think. What is your favorite one? Do you like the printed napkins more, or do you like a tissue paper? I think they all look great. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!